Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and these are your June 2025 horoscopes. June is very interesting month. We have Jupiter moving to Cancer on the 10th of June. For the last 2 years, Jupiter, the great benefactor, the one that's supposed to give abundance, growth, healing, expansion to every one of us, has been in two signs where it's very weak, in Taurus and Gemini. So these qualities of growth, expansion, optimism, you can see it even around the world. They have not been so easy coming to us. But Jupiter moving into Cancer is where it's strongest. And it will stay there for a whole year till next summer 2026. So those qualities of growth, of opportunities, will multiply, will become bigger. The ability to grow and to expand will become bigger for us over the next 1 year. I mean, fertility as well. Jupiter in Cancer is very fertile. The fertility of the land, the fertility of the animals and humans themselves should improve. So should the conditions of families. Cancer rules normal families. The good qualities, the good conditions around the world for even buying real estate should improve. For maybe laws will be, Jupiter rules laws, will be accepted kind of around the world in different places. That will give more preference for families, for normal people, which is Cancer. So we have a lot of wonderful things that are going to start the inception gradually from June. But initially, before this growth, this opportunity comes to us, right in June and July, Jupiter will receive a challenging aspect from Saturn and Neptune, because simultaneously in the whole June and the whole July, we're going to have Saturn and Neptune together in the sky. This happens once every 35 years. The last time Saturn and Neptune were together was the fall of the Berlin Wall, a big, huge socio-economic change starting to happen. And so the times are, this Jupiter, yes, will help us grow, but at the same time, we have very unstable social, economic, political times. And June and July are a peak. And again, Saturn and Neptune will meet in February 2026. And so the whole 2025, 2026, even into 2027, we have this Saturn Neptune conjunction that starts a new cycle. But it's very powerful in June and July, because it's not only Saturn and Neptune, but the Jupiter squaring them. So the three gas giants are interacting in June and July. Plus, towards the end of June, there will be a new moon. The sun, the moon, and Jupiter will align in one line like that together. While at the same time squaring, which is a challenging aspect of corrections, of growth, of some crisis, will square Neptune and Saturn. So probably the peak month of 2025, of some very important social, economic, political, and even natural events. Watch out for big natural events happening. Two of the planets, Saturn and Neptune, are in Aries fire, and the a new moon with Jupiter, the moon, and the sun, the other three super important bodies in our solar system, is happening in water, in Cancer. So there can be this play in nature between fire and water. In some places it will be water big events, in other places there will be fire big events. We don't know which, but I have to put it out there. And internally, this is the clash of water and fire within us. And what happens when water and fire bring together? It's steam. It will get steamy. It will get tumultuous. This is also volcanic energy. Volcano fire erupts and falls into water, Cancer, where the other planets are, and solidifies into something. So water and fire can create earth. They can create something new, tangible, and real. But the initial clash, it's intense. They actually, even in esoteric knowledge, we know that the battle between the creative forces happens on the verge of water and fire, where demons and angels battle each other, but they together create the reality that we have. So we have this massive epic battle of the giants, of the Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, the sun involved as well. So there'll be tension within us. Imagine water is emotions, fire, it's so fire is an impulse to act, so the emotions will be very intense. There will be a lot of emotionalism in our reactions. So be aware of that. And because Jupiter is the desire to expand, to grow, optimism, faith, Saturn is the impulse to block that. So there will be moments of I feel very high and excited and inspired in June and into July, and moments where I feel the energy of Saturn. So seesaw, optimism, pessimism. Yes, I can do it. New inspiration. A new moon aligns with Jupiter, the sun, and moon in the first degrees of Cancer on the 26th approximately of June. And that's a powerful impulse for new beginning to fructify, to give birth. Cancer is a very motherly sign, creative sign, to give birth of something new that is, it will be very fruitful. But we have to overcome some challenge, and it might be the challenge of reality. Saturn rules the rules of the world, the materialistic obstacles we need to overcome, or the materialistic laws and rules that we have to follow in order to fulfill these new visions. Because definitely Jupiter in Cancer wants to give birth to something brand new, beautiful, very expansive and very fruitful. But at the same time, specifically in June, we have to overcome some obstacles. And this energy, how we're going to feel it collectively and internally. First, the markets, the financial situation can be quite crazy in June and into July. They can be, every time Saturn squares Jupiter, in the last year, we had it 2 times over the last 12 months. We always had the markets plummet because there's some rearrangement of layers. So we can expect something like that, similar as well. Also in personal financial circumstances, some rearrangements of layers and uncertainty, or having to overcome some obstacles as well. But generally, what Saturn square Jupiter is asking us to do is to build something new on the something, maybe, breathe new life into old plans. Saturn is something old. Jupiter is something new because it's just starting a new cycle into Cancer. And so we need to breathe something new into the old plans, or we can bring new something new wants to be born out of the old, but maybe through a crisis, because we have this square. And the other way we can see this energy playing out is we need to sacrifice something. Saturn Neptune conjunction, it's about sacrificing or giving up something in order to allow another area of our life to grow up. So if you have such themes in your life, no matter where it is, just know is that this big battle between all those planets here. Give up something or sacrifice so we can grow in a different direction of life. It's okay. Another way Saturn Jupiter square can play out is to realign your plans and goals, especially in business, especially the ones that are about the worldly achievements, because Saturn and Jupiter rule the external world, your goals, and realign them to make them more practical. And especially Saturn squaring Jupiter asks us to kind of pare down somehow our endeavors and concentrate our energies on some kind of more practical or fewer projects, or more high quality projects. So instead of big number, so if you spread yourself thin in a few places, you're doing a few things. Now it will be the time, June and July, paring down, just focusing on the really high quality projects or really high quality decisions in your life, and removing certain excess ones. So there is this concentration, but also whittling down of excess, whittling down of too many things, to focus on something very high quality, because Jupiter in Cancer is very high quality something, but just not too many things. And another way it can play out as well, and it's to cut down your liabilities, because Jupiter can also indicate expenses where we spend too much time or money or energy or emotions that is basically a liability, that it's a waste. Saturn will show us what is a waste to remove it when it's squaring Jupiter. So really beautiful things will come through Jupiter in Cancer, but more towards the second part of the year. More will start feeling it when Jupiter becomes visible and stops squaring Saturn, which is from August. Those opportunities will become easier to grow into, to expand. This very powerful growth of Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is the strongest there. Growth, abundance, wealth. Jupiter rules all of those things. Joy, happiness. But June and July, it's still it's time where you whittle down, where you spread yourself too thin, extra expenses, extra liabilities, where you've been overdoing, where you have been overspending yourself thin, or overspreading yourself thin, or overspending will come under scrutiny during that time. But this is the preparatory stage for something big and something wonderful that you'll be blessed with over the next 1 year. So even if you have moments of uncertainty now in June and July, moments of like a crisis, like in a battle between light and darkness, between confidence and because Jupiter symbolizes to have faith, to be full of confidence, and Saturn is kind of like putting a brake on it or making you question what is realistic, what is not. But there will be some new ideas that are born, especially towards the end of the month, of very powerful new circumstances that are born and opportunities into your life towards the end of June, after the new moon in Cancer, while at the same time it will require either sacrifice or scrutiny or some real alignment and rearrangement of your other plans and other responsibilities, so you can focus on the things that are really important. And the Saturn Neptune conjunction, I'll speak a lot more about it in the July videos, but it is happening. I think it worldwide, it will be very strongly activated in June, because Jupiter and the new moon trigger this conjunction in June. So watch out for big geopolitical, social, economic, big shakeups and new beginnings as well, because these are cardinal signs. Cancer and Aries, these are signs of new beginnings. Cardinality means to new circumstances, new beginnings. But because they're at a square, it's like you're moving forward with new beginnings. But I always love to give this example, but the cart is moving forward. Big spin of the wheel is happening, but the wheels of the cart are square. So, so the journey starts like that. Rough. Yes, new things start, but it's a rough start. And it's normal sometimes, it's I also, Saturn Jupiter is when you can curb certain overindulgent behaviors of yourself. It can be addictions, because Jupiter can be like overdoing something, and the initial stages are difficult. It's about retreating from society, going through the pains of not having what you usually indulge with. But after that, the abundance and the growth and the reward follows. Maybe I think we'll start seeing it from August. Whatever sacrifice we did, whatever more difficult choices we have to make now in June and July, and to prioritize in some direction. After that, especially September, October, November, December, such wonderful things are coming collectively to the world and individually, because in June starts the square of Jupiter and Saturn. But in towards the end of the year, so let's say the autumn in the northern hemisphere, Saturn and Jupiter hold a trine for 2 months. So there will be a big reward as well, big growth. But the new beginnings are now a little bit rougher, with some difficult decision, but they can be extremely, and down the line, they will be extremely productive, helpful, and let's say rewarding, especially if you do the hard work now. When Saturn and Jupiter, they require to keep a very moral principle stance of yourself. All right. So, and Saturn Neptune, what can we talk about it? Again, it is connected to natural disasters as a possibility. It is connected to big political world events that will change. But this cycle lasts 35 years ahead. So we'll just see the seeds now of it. Because it's in Aries, it will be new political moves, new leaders, new direction of economics overall that will start just like when Saturn and Neptune joined last time in the early 90s, late 80s. The Berlin Wall fell, the communist regime in Eastern Europe fell. It was a brand new world. And the whole map, geopolitical, economically, will be rewritten over 2025 and 2026 through the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. It might be in very harsh ways as well, through very strong leaders or very unapologetic means, because Mars, Aries, doesn't touch lightly. It's like, uses force basically. But there is another way to describe the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which starts in Neptune in June and July. It's your ideals, which is Neptune, your belief systems, which is Neptune, will form and will be able to lay the foundations of something tangible and real, which is Saturn. A friend of mine had a vision about this combination, and she says it was given to you. I have very psychic friends. She wrote to me and says there was a message from Spirit towards you. And she said, I don't understand it, but it's for you. And she says, the waters you have chosen will build shores where there was none before. And I said, this is Saturn-Neptune conjunction that is just starting. The waters you've chosen, the emotional alignments, your beliefs, the water rules this, your beliefs, your ideals, and will determine, and also your imagination. The waters is imagination, your inner world, your inner vibration, your soul qualities will build and will be able now to build shores where there was none. So you can create out of thin air, which is kind of Neptune, out of the imaginative, the idealistic world, the ideas in your mind, your inspirations, your dreams, you can make them into reality. And not just in June, July, this is a 1-2 year process, but it's starting now. What ideals are you going to get now? And how are you going to manifest them? Or what kind of inspiration, Neptune, are you going to receive now? Very rare. It's not going to happen again for 35 years. And how are you going to fulfill it? And let's start with the 12 signs, but I also have prepared for you Uranus in Gemini, which happens in July. A 5-hour webinar with 100 pages PDF with absolutely every possible aspect. Say if you're Leo, Venus in Leo, or Moon in Sagittarius, Uranus will oppose you, sextile you. What does it mean for you? And how Uranus in Gemini will affect you for the next 8 years. And I give, even for the hard aspects, very optimistic outlook, what to look and what to expect for the final result, because the final result is what we're looking here, not the turbulence of the transit itself. But so you can keep the goal and the purpose, the spiritual and even material purpose of this, what it is. So you make sense of Uranus, because when Uranus affects us, everything changes in the life, everything suddenly. Without the warning, bam. One day is one way and the other day your reality is different. So you can check it out. It's only $19, $20 for usually something that would cost $200. I want to make it affordable for you. So if you're interested, click on the link in the description below, and you can own it. For early birds, it's $20. It becomes $30 after that. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, June 2025. Gemini, the big events are happening in your 11th and in your 2nd house. Saturn and Neptune are starting their conjunction in your 11th house. And in June and July, it's super potent, maybe into August. And then again in February 2026. So it's not one day thing. It's a gradual process over a year that unfolds, or a couple of years even, where it's in your 11th house, is the house of dreams, long-term goals. And Neptune there can give you new inspirations towards new goals, new dreams. Neptune can even help you make your dreams come true thanks to Saturn, because Neptune is something you download, you imagine, you get inspired about in regards to your social and economic goals. So social economic goals, the 11th house, which Saturn can manifest into reality. But some sacrifices might have to be done, and certain other unproductive goals and long-term goals and dreams of yours that are not realistic enough will have to go away. It can be an internal struggle for a little bit until you suss out and feel which are the really realistic ones that you can achieve. But you might be asked, and this Saturn-Neptune conjunction starts a cycle of 35 years in your 11th house. That it starts in your 11th house, unfolds for 35 years. So you're writing a new story of a new goal, of a new dream of yours, maybe a new role that you'll play in society. 11th house that can be very influential and influence large groups of people, for example. 11th house rules politics, so people that are influencers, so people that have businesses that affect others around them, or people that disseminate knowledge in some sort that affects large groups of people, or at least a big group of people in your life. And some new role is brewing, some new ideas are starting to come there that you need to be open towards, but also look at them in practical ways rather than just idealistic. Because if it was only Neptune, yeah, you might be inspired towards some new ideal in society that you want to achieve, but you stay with the ideals most likely. But with Saturn, it shows that over the next 2 years, you can start putting it into reality, that dream, that goal of yours. 11th house is your earning potential. So they can be the start of a new chapter in your life over the next 1-2 years. As I said, this is the first time it hits really strongly, June and July. Then again next year in February, and I think another time, possibly, maybe not. But it starts unfolding that those inspirations or opportunity or changes will come to you, which will set you on a new path. Maybe some socially influential role, as I said, or a new goal, or a new way of earning money. 11th house is gains, rewards, earning money. And they can be more, and earning money and gains for years ahead will be strongly influenced of the social and economic situations. I mean, everyone says, of course, everyone's financial situation is affected by what's happening in the world, but because those two very planets of what's happening in the world socially and economically are in your own personal house, 11th house of gains and earnings and dreams, you'll be strongly influenced by the events in around you. Maybe you'll be much more interested to watch, to keep with the trends. The 11th house also rules the stock markets, the whole economy of the world. Somehow you'll be strongly aligned or influenced by what's happening there as well. So it's good to stay in rhythm with the latest developments and trends, with Saturn and Neptune there, because this is a house of future, the 11th house, and what's happening in society. You'd have your hand on the pulse more strongly than normal with this combination there, and to take those forming new ideals in the world that's appearing, those forming new opportunities, to constructively take hold of them through Saturn, to put them to use for yourself, not just to be like part of the collective dreaming, but to somehow make the times work for you. And also 11th house is your friendships. There might be that over the next 1 year appears a new group of friends, or that you connect with, or just your whole environment changes because, I don't know, your ideals have changed and your dreams for yourself and your goals have changed, so you start associating with other people, or just maybe Saturn Neptune can expose the false people in your life, because Neptune and the law of vibration can be the ones that suck your energy out, or that are wasteful in your life, social connections. Or 11th house can be even connections on social media that you have. It can be your followers, it can be the people you follow as well, it can be your clients that needs to be rearranged there over the next 1 year, and the people that you associate with, and the groups that you belong to. Maybe it will emerge that you join another group of people that are important, that you're more aligned ideologically with, that you can create something important in the world with. But at the same time, there can be some kind of a culling of friendships or associates or people you follow or even clients that are no longer social interactions overall, social and economic and financial interactions that are no longer aligning to your new vision. And it can be a painful process. It might feel like I'm losing friends left and right, or everyone is against me in society, or people around me don't understand me. It's just a sign of this new beginning that you need to realign to new groups of people, new social friendships or economic, financial connections, and even business projects, which is the 11th house, on larger scale business projects, because the old ones are not working anymore. So don't get frustrated because of that. No, it's like, oh, the universe is giving me signs, you know. And then the other big event is that Jupiter is entering your second house. It's leaving Gemini and it's moving into Cancer. It's going to be there for 12 months for you. And over the next 12 months, Jupiter wants to expand your income, wants to expand your financial security or your faith. Jupiter is more faith-based planet. Your faith, your self-confidence that you can be self-sustaining, that you can make it on your own financially, economically as well. You see, both second and 11th house are very much connected to money. To one is of earnings and gains, the other one is your own, the ability to what you have to make the most out of it, resourcefulness. So they're both connected like money houses. So there's a big focus there, not just in June. There's actually a clash between those two things in June. But for the next year with Jupiter in your second house, and Jupiter will definitely expand your finances, but you might not see it in June. You might see it by next June 2026, when you turn back and you see the results that, wow, I feel more confident in myself to create wealth. I've expanded my consciousness into more wealth and abundance consciousness. I remember when Jupiter was transiting my second house, and I didn't necessarily make much more money, but I became much more confident in my ability to think of, to be resourceful and to provide and to create resources and to create abundance in my life. And I stopped worrying and fearing. I had a very, very bad poverty mentality all my life because I come from poor family, working peasants and been immigrant and been homeless and whatnot. And these fears were so deeply ingrained. And I want to promise you that Jupiter actually can really expand financially. For you, 12 years ago was when I started making money with astrology, when Jupiter was in my second house transiting. So for you, Gemini, there might be a new source of income that comes that will unfold for you for 12 years ahead to bring you abundance. Or it might be that you overcome your fears and you create more abundance consciousness, ability to believe in yourself, to manifest the resources that you need. And more resources will appear. But for an artist, it can be better materials they discover to work with. For a designer, it can be better, again, materials or resources to source out the better qualities. Or for a builder, can be better qualities, materials that they start, more abundance of those resources that you have. But initially in June, there is this clash. I think you'll start seeing the positive expanding influence of Jupiter in your second house of growth and expansion. Financially, there are new opportunities through after August onwards, when Jupiter becomes visible. Now Jupiter is invisible when it moves into a second house, so it cannot manifest so well, and it's squared by Saturn. So initially June, July, there can be some financial uncertainties or shifting of layers that make you feel worried financially, materially, and trying to reconsider where you spend your energy, and instead to focus on more quality projects when it comes to finances, financial security. But it can come with the need to sacrifice And where can the sacrifice come? Maybe 11th house, let go of certain goals and dreams that are unrealistic for you, or adjust your business plan in some way so you can grow financially over the next 1 year. Because Jupiter wants to grow, Saturn wants to make a sacrifice, say no to something or restructure something. Maybe you might need to sacrifice a few friendships or groups that you belong to, or time that you, social media that you interact with, so you can have growth over the next 12 months at some point with your finances, with your self-resourcefulness. Or maybe your second house is also self-worth. Maybe you might need to make a sacrifice of some source of income, which is 11th house, but which is beating down on your self-worth, so you can after that find new such ones that is more aligned to your self of worth or to your new values. Maybe your values will change with more fruitful, more Jupiter in Cancer is very high quality, so your values can become more either spiritual or more idealistic or higher vibrational. And you might have to readjust and sacrifice some of your long-term goals and dreams or projects to align to those new values that are starting to emerge from June and July. Or maybe a new source of income, because of it you might have to sacrifice hanging out with friends, some kind of a dilemma you have to solve, or moral dilemma about finances and resources initially the first June, July. Or the sacrifice might have to be, some of your comfort. Sometimes it comes from Jupiter that you have to do the sacrifices. So you can, some comfort, some money for you, some source of financial stability in order to kind of grow the 11th house instead, which is some long-term, bigger project, goal, dream, So you can play either you do the sacrifice in the second house and the 11th can grow. I think it's more likely to sacrifice in the 11th, so the second can grow. So yeah, interesting dynamics here, but I think despite of this clash, it can be like a big turning point for you financially, economically, socially. And as I said, Saturn Neptune are giving you a brand new role in this 11th house for society, your place in it, your future goals for yourself, the people that you move with, and the circles that you move around. And the big thing is that in July, Uranus, and by the way, the sun is in your sign most of June, so happy birthday, Gemini, new beginnings. There'll be a lot of inspirations, and those inspirations will probably channel to the second, to the 11th house. But yeah, there can be some clash here between friends and values because of the square of Saturn and Jupiter, or goals and financial resources available. So you'd have to solve some such problem initially, but after that, Jupiter and Saturn from September, October will be in a good aspect, so there'll be wonderful results. And the sun being in your sign, life comes back, life force, life energy back into you to renew you. It's time to get active, to start moving again. But the real awakening will come in July when Uranus enters your sign. Uranus is like an octave of the sun higher, very original, very creative, but it will be there for 8 years for you, Gemini. And if you want to find out exactly how Uranus in Gemini will affect you over the next 8 years, my webinar of Uranus in Gemini is just for you. It's only $20. It's 5 hours, and it's 100 pages of information that you get for every single possible transit of Uranus. Maybe your moon is in Gemini, Uranus transiting it. How does it manifest with multiple stories? Or maybe your ascendant, or maybe your Venus and Mercury, or maybe you have Saturn in Pisces and Uranus will square it, and exactly which year it will do it, and what does it mean for you? I'll pass through all of those with multiple real life stories of how it manifested for people. It's only $20 now, early bird, and from June it will become $30. So check it out in the description below. Thank you.